Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. So today is July 15th, 2020, and this is the other vegetable garden here. See, we have our cabbage going out through there, and cauliflower's out there too. We have our broccoli here. Now this broccoli plant here, we have an issue up here with what they call root maggots, and normally we use Piola as a soil drench to get rid of them, but it got into these. And this one here, this is a Calabress broccoli. Now we've grown this for about 4 years now. It is an heirloom, but this will be the last year for it. It's just not getting the nice big heads in like it has done in previous years. So we will be getting rid of this variety. This will be the last year for this variety here. We have another variety up here. This is a Smart Snack hybrid broccoli here. Now these will be harvested tomorrow morning real early. But you can see these have beautiful large heads on them. I'm not sure what's going on with the other broccoli. It did well for us for a long time, but it's just not producing like it should be, and we need to get a harvest. So the Smart Snack hybrid will be one that we will be continuing to keep, which is what these here are. But these have nice, beautiful heads on them. Now you want to pick your broccoli before it flowers. You can see here it's starting to get a little bit of the yellowing in here. It's going to attempt to go to flower, so we want to make sure that we harvest it before it gets that far. And when we harvest our broccoli off, it will continue to keep giving for us. So you can see our Brussels sprouts are back here. And that one down there, it did go to seed. I'll do a video for how to collect Brussels sprout seeds. And that one overwintered from last year in the garden, and it bloomed for us, and it went to seed now. So we can harvest the seeds off of that. These are our cauliflower plants here. They've already been harvested off of. I'll show you the harvest that was gotten off of those.
Okay, this is our cauliflower. This is, we will be harvesting it today. And as you can see, we have plenty to harvest. Goes all the way out along there. They have beautiful white, snow white heads. And we're going to be harvesting them in the early morning, so the sun doesn't get a chance to beat on them. And this is the garden that is up at our house.
You notice the itchy little tickles on me? And you can see we have cabbage out through here, and more cauliflower. Now our cauliflower normally gives more than one time. I have videos on my channel for how we harvest our cauliflower. and you can see how we harvest it, and it does continue to normally give us more than one crop from it. So we don't pull our cauliflower plants out, we just let them go and let them keep producing for us. And we have our Dutch Heirloom neck pumpkins over there. We also tried a different pumpkin, a winter luxury pie pumpkin. Now it's in a completely different family than the neck pumpkin, so it can't cross back and forth. I made sure of that before I got that variety. And we have our squash and zucchini plants over there. We did try the Delica, I believe it's pronounced Delica Squash, and we also tried the sweet dumpling squash this year. And you see that yellow caution tape? We had a deer jump the fence, so we put caution tape up to try and keep the deer out. Hopefully it'll deter them from coming in. And we have some red beets over there, and we had a lot of onions this year, so we put a bunch of them in the garden. Now we do cut our onion tops down, and it's producing larger bulbs for us on our onions. And we have some wax beans here, and some green beans. Now our green beans and wax bean seeds did not germinate like they should have, so we had an issue with the seeds this year germinating. So this is our red beet patch here. And one of the things that we do with our red beets is we do separate them. And we do what they call thinning, but we transplant them. So your red beet seeds have more than one seed when you plant them, and when they germinate, you'll get more than one plant usually. So we take the extra plants, and when they're still little, we remove them, we put them in water, and we transplant them preferably at night or closer to nightfall, so that they have a chance to establish in. Now you want to make sure that you water your plants after you do that, so that you know, they get a nice drink and they get a chance to get off to a good start. And you can see here, these are some of the red beets here, and they are getting the red beets on the bottoms of them there. Now these are the ones in the garden, and then I'll show you the ones that we have in the raised beds. But I do have a video on my channel for how we do our red beet seeds when we separate the seedlings out. So these are our squash plants over here, and zucchini, and the sweet dumpling squash, and the Delica is in. And here's one of the Delica squash here. You can see the little Delica squash there. Now I don't know if this one got pollinated or not. I'm looking for the sweet dumpling ones. But you can see the squash here. Now the female flowers are the ones that have the fruit on them, right here. And this flower was open earlier today. It's closed because it's getting pretty late in the day. And the male flower here is starting to close up. This won't have any fruit on it. And you can pollinate these by hand if you choose to with a paintbrush. So I'm taking some of these squash off here. Now I like to use pruners because I don't want to damage the plant. And you always want to make sure when you're using your pruners that you have nice clean pruners. So I use mine, I clean mine with alcohol, and I find that that works to keep them sanitized. If something would be wrong with one plant, and you cut your, you'd use your pruners to cut something off of it, and then you take it to another plant, you just spread that, whatever the first plant may have had. So it's really good to clean your pruners. So your squash here, this is one of the squash that I just got off, and you can let this get bigger if you choose to, but what will happen is if you let your squash get too big, your plants will stop giving. So your zucchini is the same way. And these here are squash bug eggs here. Now they can be on the tops or the undersides of the leaves, and you want to make sure that you get rid of those. Squash bugs will completely wipe your plants out and they will destroy them. So you want to make sure that you get rid of them, and check your plants over the fronts of the leaves and the backs to make sure that they don't have any of those on them. Now one thing that you do want to make sure when growing your squashes and your zucchinis and your pumpkins and gourds is that you get enough airflow. These are prone to powdery mildew and downy mildews, so you just want to really make sure that you're watching your plants. And you can also get the squash vine borers, which will bore into the vines and they'll kill your plants. So you definitely want to make sure that you're checking your plants over, and if you have to, neem oil does work for controlling like the powdery mildews and stuff and certain pests. There are injection things that you can get to help prevent the borers from going into the stems. I'm not sure where to tell you to get those at right now. I have seen them though before. We have more onions over here, and see our green beans here. More green beans should have came up, but the weather could have had something to do with it because it was so strange this year. You can see our onions are starting to bulb up pretty nice there, and we are cutting the tops off of them, and what that does is it pushes the energy back into the bulb, and it's giving us larger onion bulbs. And I do that with my seedlings even. So this is our sprinkler system, and we did run water out to here for when we didn't get rain. So you can see our corn crop here. This is our corn patch, and I do see one of them right here is starting to go where it's going to get the tassels on the top there. And you can see our tomato plants here. Now we were having an issue with blight on them. We are spraying them with neem oil. They went through today and cut everything off of them that was diseased or bad looking, and it's getting, we burn that stuff because we don't want to spread that anywhere else. And where we're at, we can burn that without any issues. But you can see we have some tomatoes here getting ripe. And we did harvest a ripe tomato off of here. And we were harvesting some squash and zucchini off already. Really sweet this year. A lot of nice flavor to it. I do have videos on my channel for how we fry up our squash and zucchini. You can see the rest of the tomatoes out there. And these tomatoes do still need tied up. So this one right here, this is a Park Whopper. You can see how large those tomatoes are getting in that cluster down there. And this is the back side of the tomatoes here. You can see the fruit that they have hanging on them. This one here is really has some nice fruit hanging on it. Nice cluster of tomatoes in there. This is one of our potato patches up top. And you can see here's another red beet patch here. Now these are in a raised bed here. And let me see if I can show you here. You can see they are starting. They have nice red beets on them there. Now one thing that you got to watch out for when growing red beets is you have to watch out for moles and voles and mice, because they'll eat your red beets and your carrots. And over here is one of our Walla Walla onion patches here. Now this is in a raised bed here, and these here are some onion sets here that we had planted. So that concludes the tour of the garden. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the little notification button every time I put a new video on. You can also follow me on Twitter. I have a link down in the description for my Twitter account. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye!